Hi, here's some questions and answers about the Endineering course. If you're thinking of joining, I'm sure this will be really helpful. So I wanted to cover about who it's for, the course, what's in the course, what type of time commitment it is, what sort of lessons do we cover in the course, and how to pay and where you can get discounts for the course. So let's get into this. So the course is really for broadly anyone in product development. That could be someone from marketing to logistics. But really, I think you get the most out of it if you come from design, product development, you work in sustainability or circularity in your business is also another good area to think about it from. And it also covers aspects from physical products to digital products to service products. So it's a really broad range, and I think almost everyone gets something out of the course. What is in the course? So the course is an online course. It's on demand. And it's also with weekly check-ins. So all of the content for the course is online, and you get access to that when you join up. You will also be invited to weekly check-ins with other people who are doing the course. And those are really exciting, really interesting discussion areas. We used to do sort of workshop activities in those, but people really wanted to just sit down and discuss stuff with other people who are doing the course. And we talk about things that have come up that week in the course and discuss aspects of that. And the conversation goes from all sorts of areas of industry, responsibility, and obviously all around endings as well. Also within the course, there's videos, but you also get chapters from the book, that are both the books, the Ends and Endineering books, which are relevant for that week's course. By the way, you get a free Ends and Endineering book as part of the course. There's also quizzes and diagrams in the course and bits of information which help you learn from that week's lessons. To dig into what's in the weeks in particular, the first week is a foundational sort of historical week. What we're trying to do is change your perception about endings and where things changed for society from a sociological, historical, psychological even perspective, and what that's meant for consumerism. So week one is about the history of endings, the history of consumerism. It talks about the gap at the end of the consumer life cycle, and there's some chapters from the books in that week as well. And yeah. And so week two really starts getting into it and getting practical. So it becomes about society and consumerism now. It starts to look at the problem space that we're in currently. It starts with the aim at the end. So what's the purpose of engineering and what we're trying to get out of that? It has another part of the courses, or the lesson on that week, is about psychology. So you start to understand a bit of the psychology that works around endings. It looks at what we currently do around endings at the beginning of the consumer life cycle and how we start timing that and getting into some of that. It talks about emotions and how powerful they are at the beginning and how absent they are at the end. And also we talk about the business opportunity space in terms of return on investment with endings. There's also case studies gets introduced in the second week and each week thereafter. So we have case studies from D'Economy and 3 Denmark. Week 3 starts to get into systems and models that you start to get very hands-on with, changing your products and designing different endings. So that provides some key elements for you to start using some of those asking some of those fundamental questions in your products. That is the types of endings is one of those lessons. So that looks at the different characteristics of each type of one of 8 endings. So we look into all of those, and we also look at phases of the end. So what's the consumer going through between the 7 phases as they go from usage to the aftermath experience. Again, it has chapters from the books, diagrams and other support material. And the case studies are from Rapini Clothing, Kaya Cars and Electrolux. Week 4, we start to look into the wider sort of issues, some of the things that you can apply into strategy, for example. We look at transaction models and how important transaction is as a part of framing the end of the consumer experience. We look at measuring endings and how important it is to start to think about endings as a place to do measurement, including how to make measurement as a consumer experience for the end. We look at identity and accountability, and also how all of the whole lessons, all of the course comes together in applying it, and there's a whole lesson about how to apply it. Alongside that, there's the ends canvas and diagrams about legacy numbers as well, and a whole lesson about that. Case studies are from Fairphone deposit return schemes as well. So that's the week 4, and obviously week 4 is also the graduation week. So you'll get a engineering certificate and you'll be a qualified engineer. And let's think about, so you're probably thinking, how much time do I need to commit to this course? Well, that's been a question for many people who've signed up for the course. It's broadly about 1 hour of study a week and 1 hour on the weekly check-in on Zoom. So roughly 2 hours a week. However, lots of people have gone through the course. Many of them have very busy jobs and were very anxious about, have I got time to commit to this? And lots of them found that they could move this into working in their regular life, into how their schedule works. I'll put some examples up there. What do you get out of being an engineer? Well, the biggest thing you get is you've changed your mind. I like to begin the course thinking that no one thinks about endings, and by the end of the course, most people come away and look at the whole of their consumer experience as an individual. They go around supermarkets, around electronics store, and think about the end. How does it all end? All the time. So it will change your mind enormously, and it will be something you'll carry with you for the rest of your life, is this almost a curse of thinking about the end all the time. But within that, you will be unique in thinking. Many of the people that have gone through this have really found it very helpful in terms of being a specialist in a certain field and being unique in their team, or even many people who've been looking for a job at the time have found it great in terms of something to discuss in an interview situation. So it's really powerful as a tool for that. Also, you'll be in a community of other engineers, and we stay in touch and we talk about endings and meet up at conferences and stuff. So it's a really good course to do in that sense as well. How do you pay for it? So the cost of the course is standard, and it's across the globe. So that's another thing we should talk about, is access around the world. I do 2 sessions each week. One will be an early session and one will be a late session. So the early sessions are for people, I'd say, west of Europe. Then you're looking into, east of Europe. So I have lots of clients and people who signed up the course from Australia and anywhere between Australia and Europe, and then from Europe over to the west coast of the US as well. So everyone is considered, and I try and accommodate everyone around the world to sign up for the course. Payment for the course, you can sign up with a credit card or even PayPal, I think, and also there's lots of discounts as well. I do discounts for anyone who signs up to the newsletter. You can get 25% on each month on the newsletter for 25% off. You can get a lot more off if you are looking for work, if you are a charity or work for a charity, or if you know someone who's done the course, they get an alumni ticket discount, which is enormous, and you should, and you'll get one of those if you do the course as well. So paying it forward, as it were. If you have any other questions about the course, get in touch with me, and I hope to see you soon as you graduate becoming an engineer. Thanks.